Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I've just had a crazy week. Like, the other day, one of my kids, didn't listen to me the other day. It was just awful. I don't know how I got through it.
Oh.
How was your week?
That is... Well, well, I've been in Alaska.
For a lot longer than intended?
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Got stuck in what was the series of events? So
I don't know. I've just been seeing whatever pops up into my Twitter feed, and it's like 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, they canceled my flight again. So now I'm in a hotel again, and they're not paying for it again.
Yep. Okay. So the short version of that whole fiasco is my partner, Saki, polyamory, other partner of 5 years, very abusive. When she was over at my house, she started getting a bunch of emotionally manipulative texts from him, and then eventually led to it got to the point where we made the decision, like, okay, maybe living back there after this is not safe. It's starting to feel like not safe. So the plan became, okay, well, we're going to a convention in Philadelphia. We're gonna leave the car in Philadelphia with a friend who's gonna drive it to Virginia, and then we are going to run to Alaska from a flight, and then get all of her stuff out of there, ship it to my house, and then fly back to Virginia, pick up my car from the friend. Because I picked up that friend to go to the convention.
Yeah. And
my roommate came with me as well. So there's like a whole bunch of bad things that happened here. Visiting Prophet of Zomb was also part of the plan. That ended up happening. We went to a chicken and waffle place. That was fun.
Nice.
But then in Philadelphia, we missed our flight because they told us that, despite you being here an hour and a half early, that's not enough. And I'm just like, oh, I've never experienced that before, but I guess fuck me, early is late. So they went, okay, so we're going to push you till tomorrow. So we got a hotel, got pushed till tomorrow. We got there the next day, and they said, well, we've actually canceled your flight, and the next flight that's open is in 2 days. So instead of leaving on Monday, now you're leaving on Thursday. Like, oh, okay, cool. So we'll just get another hotel. Are you going to reimburse us for that? Nah, we can't do that. Okay, what about meals? God. Nah, we can't do that. Like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. We'll suck up that cost. Contact the roommate. Hey, so we need to buy you a hotel for like 5 days while you're stuck in Virginia. So we're not just buying one hotel every time this happens. We're buying 2.
Oh God.
And then from there, when we finally when this happens, Saki sends to the partner, like, hey, I'm late again, and he started having a full-on conniption fit, and that's when the decision was made, like, okay, maybe we just tell him, because obviously he's going to make this super difficult if we don't. Because when you deal with abusers and you have that thought in the back of your head, don't tell them something until you absolutely have to for safety reasons. It was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Found out that was what was needed. Trigger warning. Dude, within minutes, attempted to off himself. And so we had to call for a wellness check on him. Had him sent to a hospital. But also the reason we knew we had to send a wellness check is he sent a message that said, I'm going to have to do something so you can see. It was very like, I'm the villain in an anime and I'm going to say the final words type of shit. I found out what he was talking about when we finally found out that what he was doing. Because when we finally got there, ignoring the fact that we got delay after cancellation, when we finally get to Alaska, we get to the house, which luckily he's not in because the hospital has to hold you for a certain number of days after you do something like that. Saki's computer had been ripped off of the desk that it was in, and ramen had been poured down it. It was a $5,000 machine, by the way. So apparently his goal was destroy her stuff and leave a corpse for us to find. That was what his plan was.
Yeah.
And we ruined that plan with a wellness check.
Well,
and then of course we got stuck.
Good for you for ruining that.
And then of course we got stuck in Alaska. We got on a flight in Alaska, sat down, and started an in-flight movie. We started Puss in Boots 2, really good movie. And then we finished it, and then we started another movie. And around that time, they finally told us, hey, by the way, we need everybody to get off the plane. The flight's actually canceled. We have a mechanical error. We're like, we just sat through a whole fucking movie while they were troubleshooting the plane, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we finally left Alaska, got on a flight, and then had even more delays and delays and delays. And at this point, we have our cats. So every delay is increasing the time we're dealing with these animals longer.
Yeah.
And then when we finally got to Virginia, we got to start the 10-hour drive home.
And you got home, what, yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday at like 8 p.m. So I've had the amount of time required to sleep, get up, buy some of the groceries that, the house is missing now, and get haircuts because this ordeal has been funny and I looked like a mad scientist by the time it was all done. And then take a 30-minute nap, get up and run here. Hi, Ryan.
Axolotl is upset that you're leaving out the elbow lady from the plane.
Oh, so on the last plane ride, there was this.
It's just the cherry on top of the.
If you think of like
fiasco.
If you think of like dumb blonde Fox News co-host bitch, but old, this is exactly who you are envisioning. Just imagine like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but 20 years older.
I was thinking Tommy Loren, but in her 70s.
Same idea. They all look the same. It's fine.
Yeah.
But so we sit down, and this woman says to me, because I'm in the middle seat, "Sir, can I have the rest of my seat?" And I look down. I'm not in her seat. I'm only in my seat. But of course, the way economy works at airplanes is you only have one elbow rest.
Yeah.
That's it. So if even like a tiny microscopic bit of me were to spill over into there, because I'm not the smallest guy, apparently that inconvenienced her too much. So I scooted to the right, and I was not able to sleep for a good 3.5 hours of this flight because I couldn't sit comfortably. But here's the thing this bitch starts doing. I noticed her taking pictures of me.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing to look at what people are doing on their phones. That's their private information. But when they take pictures of you, that rule goes away. That rule stops mattering. Fuck that rule. It doesn't matter anymore. Start looking at what they're doing with your picture on their phone. They've invaded your privacy. Fucking invade theirs. And I just started reading her sending the pictures of me to other people, just typing in, "This fat fuck isn't giving me my space." And I'm just like, lady, you are 70. Your bones are almost dust. Those are big words coming from someone with a foot in the grave.
Yeah, see, at that point, I probably wouldn't actually do this because I'm very, I just don't like interacting with people in public in general. So I would just like suck it up and be like, whatever. But like in my head, I'd be like, no, you know what? I should like take up as much space as possible now and be like, well, if you're going to be like texting pictures of me to your friends, then fuck you. I'm not going to respect your space. I'm just going to be comfortable.
My privacy.
It's like you're making fun of me to your friends. So no, you have not earned my respect. So I am going to sit comfortably and not worry about you.
I also realized I'm not using the right microphone because apparently my microphone's not on.
Yeah, I thought you sounded a little weird. I'm just like, is he on like hotel Wi-Fi again and it's extra compressed?
Turn on the light. No, my mic apparently is not on, which is weird. It should be. My sound interface is on. My mic is plugged in.
Yes, the joys of tech. Again, this is not the first time this has happened. However, this is the first time it's happened before we've been in the thing before, like the green room, I guess you might call it. Is that my official green room? Zoom, but I haven't hit go live yet.
Yeah, it's just I've I've been working on the what's up?
Oh, that looks like that actually has sound now. Hold on. Let me see if
Oh,
I can.
you sound much better already.
There we go. Yep, now it's grabbing from the right thing. Was it just not plugged in?
And now I just have to adjust my levels because you're quieter? Speak more.
Hello, speaking.
Hello, speaking. Okay, I think we're good.
Speaking.
I think we're about the same level. It looks like the same level visually, and I'm really bad at sound. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say that because like when I'm live streaming with my partner, I'm looking at the levels and I'm like twiddling them, trying to get them to look approximately equal, and I doubted myself this time because in the past, when I make it equal, when I go back and listen to it, I always sound louder. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just because I sit closer to the microphone. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm recording you through Zoom, whereas I'm recording me directly through professional grade equipment. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I always sound louder to myself in these things than you, even when the levels look the same. So when we were streaming live together, I like made the levels look the same and then pulled myself back a little bit because I'm always loud. And then yesterday's stream was just like, I'm so much quieter than her. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. It's like the visual thingy is supposed to be telling me how loud things are, but apparently it's not. I mean, it is, but like
it's not doing the proper job of it.
Something's going on where I'm reading it incorrectly, or I've got some setting tweaked or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so
even is
actually,
life anyway?
I highly recommend going back and watching yesterday's stream because that's where we paraphrase the Bible and we get such gems as Ephesians something or other is respect the dick, and Genesis 3:15 is and thus did Eve snowball Adam's come back into his own mouth, and these are all like. These all have rationalizations and how you can interpret these verses that way. They're not very good, mind you, but they are amusing.
Okay, then that's
They won't stand up to scholarly scrutiny, but that's not the purpose of the show.
It's funnier when they do, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, sometimes they kind of do. The snowballing one does not. That was just us being gross.
Respect the dick.
Respect
from
the dick.
Ephesians
Basically. That's
what about the one from his? She likes men to have big cocks. Ezekiel, let's go.
Ezekiel 23:20.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's just right out there. But that's said as a bad thing. But yeah, no, the one in Ephesians, respect the dick. That's the verse about how like, men love your wives and wives respect your men, or respect your husband. And I've mentioned that like there's a whole Christian marriage book that like maybe we'll do after we finish this one, called Love and Respect, and it's all about how like, oh, men need to be respected, women need to be loved, and it's not that men don't want to be loved, it's that like the respect is more important than the love, and vice versa.
That sounds like a fucking mafia. Would you rather be loved, or would you rather be respected? You okay there?
Yeah, just went in the wrong hole.
Look, any hole's a goal.
Any hole's a goal, yeah. It's Isaiah 53:7. No, Isaiah 53 is the suffering servant prophecy.
Yo, babe, length equals horse, emission equals donkeys. Other way around, but yes, Logan.
Yeah, it was whose members are like those of donkeys and whose emissions are like those of a horse. That's in my Bible memory verses. Anyway, before we get started, you sent me some fan art. I'm okay to show this, right? I didn't ask you this before.
You should be good too, yeah.
Okay. So, Smacko did this fan art. Smacko did this fan art. I think it's adorable and I love it and it's amazing. Still not done yet, but I think it looks great.
Yeah.
And
Apparently, I'm a Digimon, and you are my Digidestin.
I mean,
apparently,
I feel like that's a good fusion of like your more anthropomorphic avatar with your little blob avatar.
Hmm.
I feel like that's a really good fusion of that, and I like it, and it's adorable. And I actually look, like somewhat suave and handsome.
You look somewhat presentable.
Yeah, I look like I have my life together.
As opposed to normally, where
Yeah. Hey, okay, you see that ugly white thing behind me? Like 2 minutes before the stream, I had to sweep off all the dead fern leaves from that. Because that's how together my life is. I've killed a fern. Well, it's not dead yet, but it would have been
really. It would have been really weird if like one of your kids ran behind you at that exact moment. You see that ugly white thing behind me?
No. My daughter doesn't live here anymore. Because it's summer vacation, so like the last 2 nights she slept over at a friend's house, and then I got a text again today being like, hey, can I sleep over again? It was like, I haven't seen her in 3 days.
Oh, so she's just gone.
Yeah, I text her back. I'm like, oh, you need to come home and like give me a hug at some point to remind me that you still live here before I give your room to one of the boys, because yeah, we got a lot of kids and not a lot of bedrooms.
Some of them share rooms. Yeah.
Well, I mean, our rooms are big, so like there's enough room for them all. Like they all have beds and there's like a play area, but like there are technically 4 boys in one room. So like if she's gonna move into her friend's house, I'm gonna move a couple boys into her room.
Yeah. Split them up, give them a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're in the process of getting quotes for redoing the basement into proper bedrooms. And yes, before people in the chat ask, that does include the fire escapes to make it like legal bedrooms and everything. So
you guys have to have fire escapes for them to be legal bedrooms?
Yeah, because otherwise, from a basement, there's only one exit. So if there's a fire at the exit, you're fucked. So there needs to be a second exit. It doesn't have to be like an official fire escape, but like there are windows that you can install that are like fire escape windows specifically for this purpose. Do you guys not? Well, you live in Georgia, so there's no regulations probably.
They're here. We have zoning laws. I can tell you that modifications have been made on several people's houses here that may or may not be up to certain codes that nobody's read.
Well, so I don't know how many details she's comfortable with me giving publicly, but I think it's okay to say that so my partner is doing lawyer related stuff with her ex right now.
I've been seeing the
yeah. And it has caused me, she's got a great lawyer and has caused me great amusement. Her lawyer, in the last letter she sent to his lawyer, she actually called him absurd in the letter.
So like, based on the stuff I've seen from it, my brain immediately started writing like really snarky Reddit level tweets.
Yeah, it's basically
as things that you would respond with.
Oh, well, I mean, she uses a good word for it. He is being absurd. It's actually hilarious. Like, again, I'm not going to give details because these aren't my details to share.
I know that there's like, so I know that there's a certain etiquette that you have to maintain as a lawyer in order to actually, submit any response that you have and have it be taken seriously by the court. But just the idea of just beginning a sentence with, I don't have the time or the crayons.
Yeah. No, but I love it because like her lawyer has been getting all sorts of little like her lawyer says all the things that I want to say all snarkily to him, but like in legalese and proper legal speak. So like I always like anytime I know that there's a letter coming, I'm just like, oh well, she's probably not going to do this because it's not proper to do, whatever. And then I see the letter and it's like, oh, she's so good. You've got a good lawyer. I love it. Anyway,
if lawyering was just a roast battle, she's doing a fine job.
Oh, well, I mean, in this case, it basically is a roast battle. Again, not going to give the details, but he's the one that started the legal proceedings, and he should not have done that because he has no case. And my partner's lawyer has basically pointed that out in the best way.
I just begin one of the letters with, I regret to inform you that you have taken on a terrible case. It's not your fault that you've been this desperate, but it is your client's fault.
Well, so I kind of wonder, like, some of the text messages that I've seen is like, is he ignoring his lawyer's advice, or does he have a bad lawyer that's not telling him to not say these things? Because, like, he's saying things that, like, if we just take a screenshot of that helps our case. Mm-hmm. And it's very obvious that it helps our case. So, like, does he just have a bad lawyer who's not telling him not to do that? Or is he ignoring the lawyer's advice? I don't know. But it works for me.
Oh, boy.
Anyway. So I've got an Eric Hovind video. That should cheers. Okay, so I saw someone asking earlier about the Supreme Court things. I'm avoiding the Supreme Court shit because, like, we all know the Supreme Court made some bad decisions and it was shit, and I kind of want to just not deal with that right now because, like,
I'm just gonna say, after last year, reading in a 6-3 vote has become a trigger phrase for me.
Yeah. If it's a 6-3 vote, you know it's going to be bad. And then fucking Justice Roberts is like, ooh, it's really disturbing that people are criticizing the Supreme Court. And you're like, wouldn't it be more disturbing if they weren't allowed to criticize the Supreme Court? Like, if they weren't making disturbing decisions, maybe there'd be less criticism.
So I like how so I saw the picture of him saying the quote, and then of course the Twitter thing happens where people add context to it, and you get the little notification that says that, you know, actually there's context missing here. I read the whole quote, and the context makes it worse. Yeah, because in context, instead of him saying don't criticize the Supreme Court, he's saying that if you don't have the expertise that he does, then don't speak on topics that he's judging on. I'm like, well, hold on a fucking minute. So if you judge on a woman's body, what expertise do you fucking have? Where's the goddamn clip,
only the women justices are allowed to vote on that one. And that'd be a 50-50 split, so that's not necessarily a good thing.
I mean, at that point, you know what you do, right? You just get rid of the entire court and start over.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yep.
Fusel says, my first thought was, oh no, the legal costs must be terrible. Then I remembered you're in Canada. No, lawyers are expensive in Canada too. And actually, she'd probably be okay with me sharing this detail, because it's just about her. It's not got nothing to do with her partner or kids or whatever. But she originally was going to go through legal aid, which is like, if you make under a certain amount of money, then the government will pay for your lawyer for this sort of thing. And because she's in school, she's not working full time, so she qualifies for legal aid. Except she has a retirement account in Cayman Islands, of all fucking places. As like the balance, and it's like one of those things where, like, if she doesn't declare it, the Canadian government is never going to find it unless they actively go looking for it. But her ex knows about it, so. But yeah, so all right, Naramdaput says, pro tip, a tip for a pro. Thank you, Naramdaputs.
Neat.
I wish the Stream Elements bot would actually say what the message is in the chat. Like the Stream Elements bot, like, tells me that there was a tip. But like, when it's fine on this channel, but when I'm streaming on my main channel, I haven't figured out how to change my activity feed to my main channel because it's just like a browser source. But for whatever reason, it's not tied to whatever account I'm logged into in the main browser, and I have to, like, there's no like switch account.
You have to have like the windows that are dedicated just to looking at tips and super chats and shit
like
that.
I don't know. It's weird. So like there were a couple tips in yesterday's stream that got, like, I got the tip notification, but it didn't show a message alongside the tip. So yeah, sorry if that was you. Well, that wasn't you. Oh, look, my partner's in the chat. Hi. I know you're working on school stuff right now. I appreciate you coming in to tell everybody that you'd have sex with me. That's always appreciated. I mean, especially if I look like the guy in that picture there, because they made me look sexy.
So at least the legal expenses must be paid by the losing side, right? Is that still the rule in?
It depends. It can either go it could go either way. It depends. We feel like the norm is that everybody just pays their own legal expenses, but we feel like this case is ridiculous enough that we might get them paid by him. But again, I'm not going to give details. So
yeah, no, it makes sense.